In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace a broken uPvc door handle. So we've come back to our door and we found that our handle has literally just dropped off in our hand. So first thing you want to do is put the handle back on and try and open the door. Once you're back inside, you can start thinking about fitting your new handle. So all these uPvc door handles are very similar. You can see this has just come off over time with a bit of wear and tear. That's the old handle and it's literally just split in two. So hopefully you can get something on this handle to lift everything and open your door. The lock should still work fine. It's literally just the end of this handle that's fallen off. To turn the spindle, you can always use a pair of pliers and that'll just help you latch onto the spindle and you can see it turn the mechanism. You can see there, it turns the latch. And all you need to do to refit your new handles is use a Phillips screwdriver. So it's a job you can definitely do at home yourself. The only way to replace this kind of door handle, if it's snapped off completely, is to fit a whole new handle. Now fortunately, these are quite easy to come by. You just need to make sure you measure it up accurately to get the right size handle. I'm going to show you that in a second. But first we need to take the old handle off. So you'll find there are no fixings on the outside of the door. But if we come through to the inside, you can see there are a little bit hard to see. The screw there at the top, the screw there at the bottom, and those screws connect both handles together through the door. So all we need to do to figure out what new handle we need to buy is just need to take these two screws out here. Slowly back your screws off. These will be a Phillips 2 head. If you've not got a Phillips 2 screwdriver, we'll pop a link in the description. But you want to use a Phillips and not a posi. These screws are always cross-headed. They're not the sort of star head of a posi. So always use a Phillips screwdriver if you've got one. A posi screwdriver will work, but a Phillips is always better. So once you've slackened off those screws, it's important you keep hold of the handle at both sides, otherwise they can just drop off in your hand. So we'll back that screw off. This is a really easy job you can do at home yourself, because all you need is one screwdriver. Everything else you just need to buy, so you can buy a whole new handle set, and it's only these two screws that hold it in place. So although it seems like a disaster when your door handle falls off, it's a really easy fix to sort yourself. You don't need to call out a tradesman or a joiner or a locksmith. Literally, your new handles will just be held in place by these two screws. So once we've taken those two screws out, the handle will just slot off the door. As you can see, we've got our two halves. This is the outside of our handle where our little lever's dropped off, and this is our inside. So in order to get your new handles, you'll need to measure this up. So the quickest way to measure this up, to get it right, is to measure these two fixing points. There are actually two main types of uPvc door handle. There's a type A and a type B. And sometimes when you're looking for the right handles, it can be a little bit confusing. Sometimes the manufacturers put whether they're type A or type B. Sometimes they just put a schematic drawing. So when you're looking for new handles, always check the drawing on the listing. And the easiest way to work out the right handle is to measure these two fixing points. You can see from here, between our two fixing points, we've got sort of 2, 1, 1. So that is actually a type B uPvc door handle with our spacing from our fixings is 2, 1, 1. So what I like to do if I'm unsure is I like to take my handle down to Screwfix and show them there. But if you're ordering them online, there's a lot of good websites where you can order door handles next day delivery. I had to order these from Screwfix on next day delivery anyway. So if you look online, whenever you look for your handles, just make sure that these fixing points are the same. You can also check your distance between your spindle and your center of your lock. So if you're just wanting to confirm it, you can take that measurement. You'll see on the schematic drawing what measurements are available, but the quickest way to work out if they're type A or type B is to measure from these fixing points. And these fixing points go right through the door and allow both handles to attach to each other. So we'll pop a link in the description of a company you can order some door handles from if you are missing some. The company I like to use have a really wide range. You can get them in a lot of different styles, so I highly recommend them. The main thing is you measure your handle first and make sure it's the same size as your old one. This is the schematic drawing for our new handle. This is a type B uPvc door handle with a 240mm back plate. And the thing I always like to check is this 211 measurement, and that's the distance between your two fixings that attach your handles through the door. That's the best way to determine the size of your handle. You can also check that these other dimensions match, so you can look at where the center of the handle is compared to the center of the top of that Euro lock. So always check your joins always check your dimensions a few different ways, but I always like to go from the 2 fixing points, and 99% of the time that will determine what handle you've got. When we offer our old handle up to our new handle, everything is going to line up perfectly, and then all we need to do is bolt these back on the door, making sure we put the spindle in to connect the handles. If you forget to put that spindle in, your handle's not going to turn anything. Your handle comes with a selection of spindles and bolts. You'll just have to work out which one's the right length to go through your uPvc door. So we found the bolts at the exact same length as our old bolts, so we're going to use those. We'll bin our old bolts and use our shiny new ones. And we've also found a spindle that's the exact same length as our old one. Sometimes they provide you with a couple of different spindles and a couple of different bolts, but just select the same ones used on your old door. Normally, the size of these is determined by the thickness of your door, so obviously that's not going to change. We're just putting on a fresh handle. Now we're armed with our bolts, our spindle and our new handle. We're ready to fix it back on the door. Always make sure that your smooth handle is on the outside of the property with no screw holes, and your handle with your screw holes is on the inside of the property. That way you're not going to get any rusty screws on the outside of your premises. You're just going to see the screws on the inside. Always have it that way round. So you want to put your spindle in first, then you want to pop your new handle over. Pop your new handle over on the outside. Make sure that your screw holes are visible on the inside and you've got a smooth handle on the outside. Then just pop your fixing screws back in. The beauty of replacing a uPvc door handle is you can just screw them back into position using the bolts provided. You don't actually have to replace the lock or do anything else. You can literally unbolt the old handles and bolt on the new handles. It's as easy as that. All you need is one screwdriver. So we'll tighten that up. Make sure those screws are tight so it doesn't come loose. uPvc doors have a tendency to expand and contract depending on the heat, so you want to just tighten those screws up till they feel firm. You don't want to over tighten them. I always like to use a hand screwdriver, and then you run less risk of tearing these screw heads out. So once you're happy with that, it's time to try your door. Push your door to, check if it locks, unlocks, check it all looks neat from the outside. You can see that your faceplate on the outside is smooth, and your faceplate on the inside has your fixing screws. The best tip I can give you is to use a Phillips screwdriver rather than a cordless drill, because it's very easy to slip off these screw heads and damage them. And once those screw heads are damaged, it can be very difficult to swap your door handles in future. So replacing your door handle is a simple job. All you need to do is get yourself a Phillips 2 screwdriver and away you go.